Hello, everyone. Today we're with Devin Frank from Nelson and Nelson, your lawyers here in Calgary. And today we're going to be talking about something very serious. There's a lot of people that don't get help because they think it's going to be super expensive, and then they end up being in a horrible place, worse than where they started, right? So tell me, where do we start? I'll follow you.
Well, first off, thank you for having me here today. And yeah, it's a real issue we have in our society. One thing I'll just say before we get into that, though, here in Canada and other countries like Canada, everyone has what I would call an unwritten constitutional right to the access to justice. So that means if you have an issue, you have a right to go to court, your grievances can be heard, and you know that you'll be heard, you'll be treated fairly, and you'll be treated with respect.
All right, that's good to know.
The issue is, this doesn't always happen in practice.
Okay, so what do we do?
Well, before I say what we do, I want to say what the problem is.
Okay.
The legal system is supposed to be open to everyone, but it's also very complicated as well. It's very easy to get lost in it. And believe it or not, lawyers don't know everything. We often come across issues which we don't know ourselves, and we have to look into it. That way we can advise our clients on the best way to go forward.
All right, so we would have to contact you guys, like no matter what the situation is, if we're kind of mixed in it, have no idea, right? If we need a lawyer.
Well, you don't have to contact us per se, and people certainly can do their own research. The issue really is choice, and when you have some kind of legal problem, there's a lot of choices you're going to make, and these choices can affect what the outcome is. So, for example, if you have a family issue, you have a choice between two different courts to go to in Calgary or in Alberta. You can go to the Provincial Court of Alberta, or you can go to the Court of Queen's Bench. And right off the bat, you have to choose which court you're going to go to. And depending on which court you're going to go to can affect how your entire case goes forward. So you have to make sure you're informed to make the right choice. And the only way to do that is to really look into it yourself and understand what choice you're making, or have someone help you make that choice. We're called lawyers, but we're also called counsel as well. So we try to counsel our clients to help them make the best decision for themselves.
Oh my God, Devin, I didn't even know we could pick between those two. Imagine if for some reason I had to go through something, I would be like, well, it's the same, but it's not.
No, it's not the same.
Oh my God, all right.
And for example, in the provincial court, I mean, they deal with less serious issues, it goes quicker, it's much more user-friendly, you don't need lawyers as much. But if the issue is more complicated, if there's serious issues of evidence or children or money involved, sometimes you want to be at the Court of Queen's Bench, which takes longer, but it's more thorough as well.
Oh my God, okay, so in my case, because I know nothing really, when it comes to this, if we had to go through something, I would really suggest that we contact or just call you and say, hey, this is the situation, how can I deal with it? So what can we do? You were saying that we can do our own research and all that, but sometimes we have other things going on in our lives.
Yeah, so there's three things in Alberta and here in Calgary as well. First of all, if it's, say, a criminal law matter or a family law matter, there's Legal Aid Alberta. You can always call Legal Aid. They'll put you through an application process, and if you qualify, they'll either help you with the problem or they'll assign a lawyer to you. The one thing to know about them is they prioritize choice of lawyer, so you can always request a specific lawyer, and then they'll do their best to assign you to that person.
All right, so I do want to say something. So sometimes, because at the beginning we were just saying that there's a lot of people that don't go out and looking for a lawyer because they think, oh my God, this might be even more expensive than, it's going to end up being like more than what I can get in 1 year paid, right? But it's not always the case, and he just mentioned one option that you can get, but it really depends on the case, and that's why you should come out and look for a specialist, right? And see if there's any way they can help you, and maybe it won't be as expensive as they think.
No, absolutely. Another thing too is you don't have to hire a lawyer for extraordinary amounts of money to represent your case for the next 5 years. I mean, what you can do is you can speak to lawyers about getting a consultation, about just some general advice, telling them the issues, and just asking, like, what's a good way to proceed? And sometimes a case is resolvable. Sometimes you just need someone to speak to, and then someone to speak to, say, who the other person is on the other side, and see if the issue can be resolved without having to go to court and without having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next 5 years of your life.
So
maybe not 5 years, but 2 years.
or whatever years it has to go, right? But sometimes it's more the idea that we have, and there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to hiring a lawyer or going out and calling them. Because the first thing I get is, as soon as I call a lawyer, I'm going to have to pay him for the whole process. And you just mentioned it's not like that. It doesn't have to be like that. It could be if your option is, right?
It can be, and lawyers aren't necessarily like doctors and that all fees are the same. Different lawyers charge different amounts and have different fee structures. But it's worth just kind of calling around and just asking people, saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. What would you suggest in this circumstance? So
nice.
it's kind of just doing your own research in a way, but also just asking people. Often just picking up the phone and saying, do you deal with this problem? And can I talk to you for a bit?
That's good. Good to know. Well, there you go. Okay, so for any information, additional information that you may need, you can always contact them, Nelson & Nelson. You can find them as nelsonlegal.ca, or just call them or Google them, right? They're on social media and everywhere. Thank you very much, Devin.
Thank you.